internet users, and I think the latest numbers of Facebook users is closer to 900 million. So Facebook is becoming really operating system of the web. That's the way people want to have the information, and that's also how they want to interact with organizations like the Red Cross. And the same thing with Twitter is becoming, if you want, the default standard for breaking news, but also for people to share, as Bal said, very action-oriented field perspectives on what's happening. So organizations like the Red Cross are in general, and I think also Sari, WHO can relate to this, are very conservative and rooted in the way that they do things. And the question really is, how can we as an organization adapt to this changed environment? And I think over the past 3 years, we have created Facebook pages, Twitter feeds, YouTube channels, and Flickr accounts, and so on, with the ambition to really increase the visibility of what we do, fundraise, and so on. So it's been pure PR, if you want. But now, over the last year, with the rise of social media, and also with, as we have seen, social media has been used in the Middle East, and let's say in Libya and Tunisia and Egypt, we're seeing that we are being approached on our platforms by people who are caught up in these situations. We both have people who are, if you want, sending a distress call saying, okay, I am right here, right now in Tahrir Square in Cairo, we need medical support and no one is here to help us. And the question is, how can we as an organization then relate to that and respond to that? Because when we are approached by the social media domain, it's not PR anymore, it's highly operational. And if you look, for example, at organizations like the American Red Cross in North America, a recent study confirms that people in general would, I think 50%, 20%, every fifth person would send a distress call, a call for help via, let's say, Twitter and Facebook if they couldn't reach 911. So what I'm saying is that there's an increasing demand. People are expecting aid organizations to monitor social media platforms in terms of crisis. And we are currently not, if you want, adapted to this environment. So the first, if you want, that's really lesson learned we see. And what we try to do now over the spring, now here with what's happening in Syria, we've increasingly tried to provide operational information via, let's say, Twitter. So when our field teams in, let's say, in homes in Syria have been, if you want, performing their work, supporting those who are wounded and sick, we have tried to provide action-oriented, real-time updates via Twitter, for example, saying that ICRC and Red Crescent teams have just entered Baba Mar in Hope to evacuate the wounded, or something like an ICRC truck carrying medical supplies just arrived to Damascus, and so on. And that type of information has been very well received, not just from media, but also from, let's say, beneficiaries, people who actually need help. Because it's becoming, as I said, that's the default channel they want to receive information, and that's how we are using it. I think also hope in the future that the main challenge we have is to monitor, to create a robust system through which we can think of it as throwing a net over the web, over the social web, and pull in the information out there. Because if you search for distress call related tweets, for example, or information carrying certain words like Syria, help, and so on, how can we as an organization have a system to monitor that? That is the really challenging part. To be able to post something on Facebook and tweet and so on for PR, as I said, that's quite easy. But the challenging part is to monitor and respond to the information being shared, let's say, in a context which is very highly sensitive, also given that there's an armed conflict or a situation of violence actually taking place. I don't know if that probably was a bit more food for thought for you guys. So I'm gonna.
Hello, Dave.
Hey, Dave.
Of course,
Dave. Dave is our teacher actually on the course. Dave, meet our Hangout friends. Hangout friends, meet Dave.
I'm just listening in for a short while, that's all.
Maybe created echo.
Okay. So basically, that's what I had to say briefly about how the social media is trying to adapt to this rapidly changing environment. And I think the key lessons learned is that social media is not just PR, it's becoming increasingly operational for us. And what we need to be better at, and what is the really major challenge, is to set up a system to monitor and understand what people out there are saying about our work, but also people in context where we're operating, if they're sending, as I said, distress calls, call for help, how can we respond to that? So I'm going to stop there and throw out the mic to someone else who wants to share their experiences. I think maybe a good idea is if we can, Adeline, Sari, and Steph, if you want to share any experiences you might have in the social media crisis, and then we can have an open discussion, basically. Who wants to start?
I can. Oh, actually, I can start.
Okay.
Actually, I didn't see concretely the impact or the result of a social media in crisis personally, but through different interviews with some people at the Red Cross. I've been in touch with some person, for example, the chief information officer of the Red Cross, who told me that it's also a challenge to use social media in emergency crisis because of the reliability and credibility of the information and the distress call. As Isaac mentioned, it's really, he told me that it's really important to monitor and to check if the information or the distress calls are really
accurate.
Yeah, they're true. Actually, I don't know English. Sorry, I'm not that. And he told me it's a new challenge because if they send some people in an area in a crisis area, they really need to be sure that the information they received are true. So there's another task to added to the social media is to receive the information and then check as they can with their delegates on the field and other information to verify and recheck the information to be sure that if they send their own delegates in a mission, it's really it's not a loss of time actually. Another person told me that Twitter, as Isaac said, Twitter is the most the first source of information in Syria. That's what I can say for the moment. Maybe I can react after that.
I think that is it's a very good point. I mean, to be able to validate the information that you receive on social media, and also as you said, Twitter is increasingly becoming important as a reference for us to gather information, getting a situation overview, and feeding that into our decision-making process. But of course, let's say if we can see action-oriented information shared via Twitter, we need to triangulate it and find a way to validate it before we can actually rely on it.
Exactly.
I think maybe, Sari, if I'm passing over to you, if you feel that you want to share a few things about social media during from WHO's perspective.
First, I think I want to comment on what Val said earlier, that trust is important, and it's not something that you can build overnight. It's something that we totally agree, and we have the same experience. For, I think, organization or government who would eventually do an emergency response, I think it's very important to build the relationship, to build your existence in social media during what we call normal days, when there is no crisis, to build the trust with your followers. It's not when there is something, there's a crisis, and then you jump in, because then it's difficult for you to have credibility. That's our experience. And what Isak said about monitoring for WHO, we totally agree that we are also an international organization with a lot of different issues that we cover, and from our monitoring actually contain rumors.
Sorry.
For example, during to pick up potential rumor or rumor, yeah.
Okay, thanks for that. Sorry.
Sorry, I think that the it's a bit of a connection problem on all our lines. I think sorry, I heard most of what you said, but I don't know if you could you just say a few words, for example, like practical example of how WHO use social media following the earthquake and tsunami in Japan 2011, if you feel comfortable, because I remember there were some rumors about spreading, and I think that WHO did a very good job at using Twitter to combat that somehow.
Yeah, I'm really sorry about the connection because I'm using Wi-Fi here and apparently it's not great, so bear with me. Soon after the tsunami hit Japan in 2010, there was this radiation incident that happened soon after, and then quickly since after that, there are a lot of rumors circulating, particularly in Southeast Asia, which we picked via our media monitoring, that people think that eating salt, iodized salt, could protect them from the radiation impact, which is not true. And if you consume too much, eat to different pick that are kind of diseases. So we because it doesn't do anything to prevent you from the radiation effect. Soon after we tweeted and we put it on Facebook, we see again from our monitoring that the trends start changing. People started retweeting our messages, telling their friends, their family that this is what WHO is saying. And then a few days, CNN reported that people are queuing in supermarket to ask for refund for the salt that they purchased.
So you basically quashed rumours and possibly saved further injury and damage from people kind of listening to rumours and thinking that was the way forward. So you actually reassured them and gave them accurate information, didn't you, as an organisation?